This is Ray Felix on this rainy Saturday evening. It was a beautiful day today, but the heat got too crazy, so I had to call it a day. It was just too much. So I just wanted to recap a little bit. A lot of cool stuff happening in the world today. You have Juneteenth, major thing, something that should have happened over 100 years ago. It's now a federal holiday. That's cool. You know, I had made a comment to Miguel Guerrero about, hey, now they need to stop colonizing other islands that they've obtained, like Puerto Rico. I mean, yeah, Puerto Rico, now because they're impoverished and stuff, they want to become a state, but really Puerto Rico should just become independent in its own thing. A lot of people may disagree with that. But, the United States has a tendency to acquire territories, and then the people that are there are very poor. And then you have a great divide between the very wealthy and the very poor. And mostly the very wealthy are not even native to those lands, there's a problem with that. Look at Hawaii, right? Okinawa. I mean, in Okinawa, a lot of people never hear about the Okinawa, but you have over 50,000 military personnel in Okinawa, and in their own country, you had soldiers getting drunk, and screaming, like USA, 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 in the streets of Japan, terrifying the people that live in Okinawa, the Japanese. So it's not good. They have a long history of assaults, rapes on the native people, terrorizing the natives. So this is just the beginning, So good for Black Americans. Next is reparations, right? It's excellent news. But it's only a step towards other things like the ending of police brutality, unjust prison sentences that are overblown. The whole bail bond system needs to be readdressed and done over. I mean, it's criminal. There's a whole lot of stuff. The juvenile justice system. But there's no perfect system on the planet. I'm not gonna I don't live in a cloud thinking that everything should be perfect, but we should always be trying to make things better. That should be our goal. As humans, we should always, they say it ain't broke, don't fix it. Bullshit. Yeah. If it's not perfect, we can do better. You can always do better, right? That's what we strive for. So that's this week's news, or at least what I watched, aside from President Biden's dog passing away, which is also sad news. But anyway, I just want to recap with Tom Sciacca. He's going to be on soon in a few minutes. And what's going on with this yellow banner here? Something's going on here. Why is this banner popping up? It's so weird. This is weird. This banner is just this is an example. All right. So, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there we go. So in other words, I want to kind of recap with Tom Sciacca. We're going to bring him back on and talk about the street signing. We talked about it last week. Was it? I think so. About Stanley getting a street. We thought it was pretty cool. We talked about going, not going. We ended up going, and I was actually invited to go. And it was kind of cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to go or not. I was kind of on the fence with it, but I ended up going, took the day off, took a personal day. I'm kind of glad. It was a nice thing. So I'm going to just play while we wait for Tom to show up. I'm going to play a little recap, what you may or may have not seen on the news or on my Facebook page. So I'm going to share that right now. I'm going to share my screen and we can watch some of the stuff that we saw with Tom Sciacca. Here we go.
Adults who grew up reading Marvel comics, Stan Lee was the father of their heroes. After all, Lee, along with artists like Jack Kirby, created the Avengers, the Hulk, Spider-Man, Black Panther, the X-Men, and so many more. Once restricted to the pages of comic books, those characters are now part of the most successful series of films in history. Films that Lee even had cameos in until his death in 2018. And just like many of his creations, Stan Lee was from New York City, and today his hometown honored his
Bronx.
amazing gifts to the kids in all of us. 3, 2, 1.
It was a marvelous sight for 6-year-old Caleb, who watched in amazement as Stan Lee's name was permanently attached to this Bronx avenue.
Do you like superheroes?
Yes.
And who's your favorite?
This kid's totally cool.
The Hulk.
It's a dream come true for all the kids out there that want to be superheroes.
Cajun Corporone knew she had to bring her son down to Thursday's unveiling.
Stan Lee was a kid from the Bronx, and we claimed them
This
as
is
one
Rammer
of our
here.
own.
After all, Stan Lee is
He was an
practically a
anchor for Marvel.
fixture in the family's home.
How cool is it that the guy who created your favorite characters also grew up in the Bronx?
It's really cool too.
Does it inspire you?
Yeah.
Now he's learning how to read and write. So in the stories that he writes,
The next generation
he'll write
passing
like
the torch.
cow
That's
or
what it's
wow
all
or
about.
those things.
He may have created some of the biggest superheroes of all time, but to so many, Stan Lee
so
was
funny.
also a hero. He grew up here in the Bronx, and his work an inspiration.
I love Stan. You know, he
was Tom.
was a good guy. He gave me an opportunity, and I ran with it.
Just ask Tom Sciacca,
There goes
a
our
comic
book.
book artist and writer who
Bronx
worked
Heroes
for
in
Marvel
Tropeland.
and alongside Stan back in the 70s.
He was a great guy. I can't say enough about him.
Did he inspire you to want to get into comics?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ray Felix also grew
Yeah,
up
that's
in the
me.
Bronx.
I look so
He too
fat.
drew on that
I saw this video and
inspiration.
realized I need to lose weight.
Continue the legacy. You need people need hope. Stan attended DeWitt Clinton High. Here's
Actually talked
his
for 20
yearbook photo.
minutes, but
It's a huge deal for someone like myself.
Sound
The
bites.
school's principal, also on hand for the ceremony, he says the comic book characters helped him find a voice growing up.
Stan Lee meant so much to so many of us.
I think it's a great honor for Stan to be honored like this, and for people to know that Stan was from the Bronx.
I'm Adam Harding, News 4, New York.
so that was really cool. Let's stop that before it goes into the next one. We don't care about whatever else is going on. So, and then of course we had this one, which was even cooler, which was News 12 actually covered it. I fast forwarded it to Tom's part. Let's see. So this is like the raw footage, and it was actually airing live. Let's see if they get this right. So it goes, Tom. So this is behind the scenes, but this was actually being filmed live. It was Rammer again.
For Stan Lee, if you can share some words. Yes, okay, sure. Hi, I used to work for Stan in the 70s. I ran the 1976 Marvel Con with him, and I was his assistant trying to do the Hulk movie in 1975 with Bill Spotsky in England and Ray Harryhausen doing the special effects, which didn't happen. But I worked at the 76 Marvel Con, and we worked, Deadly Hands and Kung Fu and all that. Stan was a fantastic person and great guy, and the co-creator of all the Marvel characters with Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and Don Heck, John Buscema. Let's not forget those guys who did all the artwork.
Very important. So he says, don't forget those guys. And here we have Tom Sciacca here. Let's cancel this. Hey, Tom, I was just playing some of the footage from last week's thing.
Hi, hello, fellows
How's
and
it
women out there.
Yeah, so I was sharing some of that footage of you talking because when we see the news, they really kind of just show like a little tiny sound bites of things that we said, and I thought what you said was very poignant. So I was just going to keep playing that. I'm going to share the screen again. And
Go
then,
right ahead.
Let's see if we can get, all right, let's see if we can get the rest of what you said here, because I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's very important. There you go.
Applauding. And
See if we can raise the volume.
this is a great opportunity, and I'm from the Bronx too, along with my buddy
That's as high as it goes.
Perez, who I helped to get into Marvel, and we did fancies together at Cardinal Hayes High School.
That was kind of cool. It was kind of
Yes,
impromptu, right?
1972.
Yeah.
And then we have Bronx Heroes and Trump Blender we did. Trump's a super villain. Trump is a super villain. Available on
Well, I got a
Amazon.
good reaction.
And,
Yeah,
my
definitely.
character, Aspen Star Soldier, and Black Power, who's my partner, Ray Felix's character.
So you got like this kid over here. He's just like checking his text.
We sent Trump to outer space at the end.
I got a good laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
Luckily, before we started the atomic war, we got
And
rid
for
of it.
those
But,
who are watching now,
like I say, just
go
a
to the
great-
Bronx
great
Heroes
thing to
website.
have
Forget about Amazon. We don't make any money off of that.
from the Bronx and the comics, like my friend George
And
Perez.
what's the Bronx Heroes website again?
BXHCC.com or Google Bronx Heroes.
I'm sure that stand up there.
And you wore that Spider-Man shirt. That was
Stan would
perfect.
say, Excelsior. All right. Great. Thank you very much.
That was perfect.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask for...
So there was my fat self. I need to lose weight, man.
Yeah,
I started doing crunches this morning. I was like, I don't like the way I live. I'm too heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of crunches.
I'm just like, I need to stop. All right, let me. How do I get out of this? All right. There we go.
It was an exciting morning, and then we got interviewed by NBC.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I played the NBC one earlier. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I just think it was a great time. It was fun. We got to promote the book. We got to go to City Island afterwards. You know,
City Island, yes.
Documented a
Crab
little bit more.
shanty. Let's go
The
to
crab shanty.
shanty.
That's right. You know, I think the last time I was in the crab shanty. Well, actually, I was there. The last time I was there was like work related, but before that, I remember I was in college, and I was going on a date with some girl, and it was like the meals were like, I mean, it was a lot of food that we had this time around, but I remember back in the 90s, there was even more food, you know?
Right.
Like, I remember I had like the linguine and lobster when I could eat lobster and shellfish. Right. I can't touch this stuff now. But I remember being in my early 20s and just scarfing down all this food with this young lady I was with. And there was so much food that we both had doggy bags at the end of the day. It was crazy.
Did you get lucky?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well. You had the doggy bag.
Yeah, the guy, the doggy bag, yeah.
By the way, I made a semi-alcoholic beverage for myself for tonight.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's mango juice and white wine.
Oh, I like that. That sounds like a very cool drink. That's good. Did you ever try bartending? Did you ever try your hand at that?
No.
You have that. You have a natural personality. You're like an external personality. I could see you as a bartender and telling stories and.
Except I would drink half the stuff, so.
You know, me too.
So it would be no good, you know.
That was one of my goals growing up. I actually did want to become a bartender. I got my license to become a bartender when I was younger, but then I got accepted to college, so then I ended up not going to become. You ever heard of Riddlers in the Bronx?
Yes.
I was actually interviewed for them. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
I don't think so.
And then I was hired because I tried all these bars.
Wasn't it off of Barnes Park Avenue?
That one is under the 6 train. It's under
okay.
It's between Parkchester and another stop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like Theriot Avenue, like around there. So I used to see the bar all the time because my cousin used to live there. But anyway, got this bartender's license. You think, hey, he's licensed bartender, New York State certified. And I was going to Manhattan. Nobody would hire me. And actually, the majority of the bartenders, I later learned, were not even licensed. So I spent like $585 licensed to be a bartender, went to bartending school for like, I think it was like a month or something like that. I don't remember, but it was a lot of money.
I remember all the ads for bartending schools on the subway. And
Yeah.
I think wasn't it near Times Square or something? The
Yes,
bartending
it was
school?
near Times Square. Yes.
Yeah, it was near Times Square. The bartender, yes. It's like I thought
Well,
about it for about 30 seconds.
that was my first degree after high school, but then nobody was hired. Most bars didn't hire licensed bartenders, which was weird. They just hired pretty girls that couldn't serve drinks. You know, it's like,
Right. Well, listen, you could do it again.
That's true. That's true. So anyway, I ended up getting hired by Riddlers, but then the same day I was supposed to start, I was actually accepted to the School of Visual Arts, and then I ended up I had to say, am I going to be a bartender or am I going to go to college? And I went to college. So the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, you obviously made the wrong choice. So
I know, right?
but you could have made a lot more money as a bartender.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, I could have probably owned a few bars or something.
Yeah, you would own a few bars, but comic book themed bars, and then oh
Yeah.
well.
I kind of grew a conscience. So I felt like I was going to be poisoning people, because like I was around that time of my life, I was actually getting out of drinking because I was drinking so much.
Right.
It
Probably wouldn't have been a good idea because it would have been drugs and sex and lots of women. You wouldn't want that.
Terrible. That's like Pinocchio, that guy with
Exactly.
grow donkey ears, right?
Right, exactly. It would have been a terrible thing for you.
Terrible thing.
They're like, all that sex and women.
Yeah, no, I'm just doing
because you live such a quiet life. It's just like
It would have been a different path. I wish there was a way that we could look into our other lives, like based on decisions, like a Twilight Zone episode. Like, where would you be today if you made that left turn or said yes instead of no? Or, where would you be?
Well, on that, I think it's on that Roku channel. They have the one of those things I was looking on Roku.
Right.
They have to watch for free the entire series of Sliders. Remember that show,
really?
Sliders?
It was a good show.
Yeah, which I think I stopped watching after about the third season for whatever reason.
I think I stopped.
It went on for 2 more seasons, and then the last season, what's his name, left.
Did they replace the actor or something?
Yeah, he left or whatever. He decided he'd had enough of sliding, so they just had a bunch of people that you never heard of there the last season, whatever. But it was interesting because looking at it now, it's the whole multiverse thing, which is the big deal now.
Exactly.
Which, of course, the multiverse thing started really with DC Comics was the first one to propagate that. Right. Although apparently, I've been reading that the whole idea of the multiverse came out with actual scientists with quantum mechanics in the 50s. So they actually were talking about that for real. So that's where what's his name, Gardner Fox picked that up from.
Is that right?
And went with the multiverse thing. But apparently that's been a thing for years, talking about multiple dimensions. But Sliders was there first before all these other
for sure
other shows were, because it wasn't time travel, like Time Tunnel
and Quantum Leap too, right?
Quantum Leap too. Although Quantum Leap wasn't so much
was lives, something like that.
It wasn't so much alternate universe as time travel, and then he was going into other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. He was kind of like Dead Man, actually, right?
Yes.
Like Boston Brand jumping into bodies.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that whole time kind of thing, whatever, was supposed to be part of, I was reading an article about Battlestar Galactica, and when they did the sequel, Battlestar Galactica 1980, that's the concept that it was supposed to be, that they were going to be time travelers.
Really?
And it wasn't supposed to be like the grandson of whatever. It was supposed to be like 10 years later, and it was supposed to be the same characters. But then I guess they shot a pilot, and then ABC said, no, we don't want that. We don't want this time travel shit. We want something else, We want something simple.
So did they ever air that or no?
No. I don't know if it even exists, but apparently it's supposed to be a time. And so apparently the same
It's just like Legends of Tomorrow's, right?
Right. The same two producers then did, 10 years later, they did the Quantum Leap. So they just took that idea and it went into Quantum Leap. But the Sliders idea, which I'm surprised they don't bring that show back now.
Yeah. They're bringing everything back.
That was alternate universes, which, is the big thing now. Of course, Star Trek did some of that where they went to different planets, and it was kind of like, it wasn't quite an alternate universe, but
it was like that gangster world they went to, right?
Right. But then
that
they
was
did
cool.
do.
I love that episode.
But then Star Trek did do. I'm sorry. I gotta apologize. Star Trek did do an alternate universe. They went into the other universe with the Terran Empire.
Yeah.
Where it was the Kirk was like an evil Kirk, and
I love that. It's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, and then they kind of continue that with the Deep Space Nine. They did some of that, and then now with Discovery, they went into that a little deeper.
Oh, did they really? I haven't really caught up on that show.
Since you're able to see these, you should see the first season of Discovery. The second half of the season takes place entirely in the alternate universe.
Right.
So it's actually very well done. So, but what's interesting is the costumes that they use for I guess some of the women and some of the men or whatever.
Right.
They suspiciously look like the same costumes from the serial The Purple Monster Strikes. It's the same design, and actually even the color is supposed to be black, and then there's like kind of like armored V, and it's exactly the same as The Purple Monster Strikes, which in the posters he had an armored thing, and it was gold colored. So obviously they must be looking at old serials and stuff and getting ideas,
Right.
Fans of that stuff, but it's good. But yeah, Sliders was ahead of its time. Definitely.
Oh yeah, and there was I started looking at a lot of old shows. I started watching Miami Vice, Wise Guy. Those are really good shows.
Like I said, I think I told you in private. I've been watching Charlie's Angels, and a lot of those are pretty good.
Exactly.
And then and I think I told you there was one episode it was on the other day. I think it's a fourth season episode with Cesar Romero, and he's basically reprising his role of the mad magician from Two on a Guillotine.
Oh, really?
So basically, it's the same kind of character. He's the same kind of like insane kind of guy.
Like a pseudo
Joker. He's got a tuxedo on and whatever. So that's pretty good. And he was a good actor. I think a lot of people.
Was he Cuban or Puerto Rican?
He was. I think he might have been Mexican American.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think he might have been Mexican American.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was Cuban. I think it was a Mexican American.
Yeah.
Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero.
But I think his family came from the old days of old Mexico. So, but he was a very good actor. I don't think because everyone recognized him as the Joker, but I think he pulled off the Joker best. I'm sorry.
No, honestly, I have to say you are correct. He was the closest thing to the comic. Everyone else goes off into this other thing,
Right, everyone goes into. I mean, and I like Jack Nicholson, but like the more recent ones, I didn't care for Heath Ledger. I mean, he did a good job, but I didn't care for it at all.
Right.
His
mother was Cuban, but he was, and his father was from Spain.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he was mixed.
All right.
So he was mixed.
Okay. So it was close. It was close.
Yeah.
So actually, it was close on both halves because the Spanish colonized Mexico. So
Mexico, yeah.
So there. So
there you go. There you have it.
Cesar Romero, but he was great.
Yeah, he was.
I believe he was gay also.
Oh, really? He was my favorite though. Out of all of the Jokers, he's the favorite.
Oh yeah, he's great, and it's great to see him in old TV series too.
They designed the hot toys of him, and then they didn't release it in the U.S. I think it was only released in Hong Kong.
Really? Well, there's going to be a new McFarlane they're gonna do a Cesar Romero Joker from McFarlane coming up. So, and then there's a picture of it on Facebook on one of the Batman collector pages. There's a picture of it. So
I like
it's pretty good, and it's actually much better than the Mattel version.
Right. Oh, it's like something just happened weird. I was like, what's going on? My light just went out. It made a weird sound and like a crunching. Oh shit! I think it burned out. Shit.
There you go. Well, we can still see you, so.
Oh, it smells like it burned.
Oh.
Whoa.
Like?
Oh, yeah. It smelled like it just burnt out. It's like, shh. I just heard like a crackle.
Oh.
Either overheated or burnt out. I hope it's not totally dead, but oh well. Now I have no.
Well, we can see you perfectly, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I just had this little light over here and in the overhead, so.
That's so crazy. Amazon piece of crap.
Amazon, damn Jeff Bezos. So how much people are betting that when Jeff Bezos goes into orbit that it blows up or something? How many people are betting on that?
No.
His penis ship from.
We should start a campaign to get Trump on there.
Yeah, I wish his penis ship from Flesh Gordon. Yes, in case anyone wants to look, both these billionaires are obviously sci-fi fans because the ship that Bezos has looks a lot like the penis rocket ship that was in the old movie Flesh Gordon.
Right.
Porno Flesh Gordon.
Yeah.
And penis ship from Flesh Gordon.
And then the Starship, it's called Starship, the Elon Musk ship that he wants to go to Mars in, looks exactly, and it looks exactly like the rocket ship in the old 1950s sci-fi movie Rocket Ship XM. It looks exactly like it.
Right.
I mean, including the kind of fins on the top part, exactly like the old sci-fi movies. So it's kind of like weird and creepy at the same time.
Really?
So you're wondering now if
was that like a kind of like an Ed Wood type of film, or
no? It's actually a very good movie. It's actually on YouTube. You could see it. You probably saw it years ago. It actually was the first quote unquote moon sci-fi movie because it was made to like capitalize on the George Powell film Destination Moon, which was at the time a big budget sci-fi movie about the first men on the moon.
Right.
So it's called Rocket Ship XM, and it was written and directed by Robert Siodmak. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who wrote a lot for Universal and did a lot of sci-fi and horror for Universal.
Right.
But it's a rocket ship, and it's got the requisite crew. It's got the guy from Brooklyn, and it's got two of the strong-jawed heroes, and it has of course the beautiful woman scientist.
Right.
And the two big stars in it are Lloyd Bridges and Hugh O'Brien.
Ah,
Hugh O'Brien,
he was like in everything back in the day.
Hugh O'Brien, who was on the old series Probe, and he was Wyatt Earp, and of course Lloyd Bridges, we know him, father of the Bridges brothers. And then also in it is what's his name? Noah Beery. He's like the Brooklyn guy. And Noah Beery, of course, was the father on the Rockford Files.
Oh yeah, that was another good show, Rockford Files. I remember watching that as a kid. That was on CBS.
So basically, what the plot of it is Rocket XM. It's an expedition moon.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to go to the moon, but then they have a meteor shower, throws them off course. They end up on Mars. Okay, so when they land on Mars, of course, they land on Mars, and they don't need spacesuits. They just have kind of oxygen masks on.
Right.
Okay, even though it's supposed to be, something like 10 below zero there or whatever. But and then they discover a lost civilization. They find objects in the sand, and it's a sculpture. It's kind of like a human face on the sculpture, and then they find some ruins. It goes, there's a civilization here, but they destroyed themselves by nuclear war. And then they end up,
true.
It's probably true. And then they end up finding kind of like cave people there. So those are the Martians who look like us, but they're like cave people, and they get attacked by the cave people.
Wow.
You know, and then they manage to get back to the ship, but they don't have enough fuel to get back to Earth. So they, as they're plummeting into the atmosphere because they're going to crash. They make their final radio announcement, and of course, and they sacrifice themselves for science. But it's actually a very good movie.
Science is a modern religion, right?
Right, but I won't be surprised all of a sudden Elon Musk goes to Mars and they find like the evidence of a civilization there.
Some people say that Elon Musk is one of the lizard people rumored to be on the planet.
Probably. Looking at him, I don't doubt it.
Like V.
Looking at him, I don't doubt it.
His sense of humor is quite odd, though, but that's probably because he's European, right? It's like so it's like.
Well, what I was listening to the radio as I was sitting in my car earlier, meditating. On the radio, there was an ad, I guess, for one of the two Republican candidates for mayor in New York City. I think it was for Curtis Lewa. But the person who was giving the recommendation of what a great candidate he is was Mike Flynn, the famous traitor Mike Flynn.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
This is Mike Flynn here. General Mike Flynn saying that you should vote for Curtis Lewa because he's like, oh, great. But both of these guys who are running in the Republican primary, they both have like Trumpists on each side, recommending him. I think the other guy has Rudy Giuliani. It's like who is going to vote for these guys?
I know.
Probably
You'd be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Probably they'll win Staten Island for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what they should do is let Staten Island secede and just let them be their own city.
Well, I remember years ago they did have a big problem with neo-Nazis there.
Yeah,
they did. Switching gears, I wanted to talk about this comic book and talking about Stan Lee, like this depiction of Stan Lee, the Howard Chaykin book. I think I mentioned it to you before, right?
Yes.
And I thought it was really interesting. Let's see how I can do this. Okay, here we go. So, so this is the new series,
right.
Profits and Loss.
Right.
It's just like, this is, readallcomics.com. Great website. If you want to read comics, you could also donate to them because they provide the digital copies. So this was like I want to go back to the first series, which I thought was brilliant. The first one, I'm like, and the second one is like, I'm okay. It's not that great, but Hey Kids Comics. What an odd title, first off. But
well, you know what that's from, right?
No, where's that from?
When the old comic book racks that used to be in stores.
They used to say that on there.
And on the top it said, "Hey Kids Comics." That's where it's from.
So this guy, I don't know if he's actually modeling after an actual black animator, but they had the pseudo Batman comic, and then he said he was the inker on it.
Yeah.
Ray Clark, I thought was Joe Simon at one point, but then it's not. I don't think so. It says morally compromised, artistically inconsistent, inevitably confused about why his self-regard isn't shared by colleagues and friends. Benita,
I think he didn't base him exactly on the people. I think he took elements from different people,
yeah.
And some of it, I think he combined it. I didn't think he did exact avatars for all these people. So
yeah, but Bob Rose is definitely Stan Lee.
Well, the thing that's funny is that some of these are names that are similar to actual people. So right. Bob Rose is actually the name. It comes from Bob Lee Rose, who was a colorist, and he was one of the production guys at DC, who was a hell of a nice guy. So I think part of this is a kind of a homage to some of these people.
Right, but this guy steals everything. He steals everything from Sid Mitchell, who's clearly Kirby,
Right, Sid Mitchell, and then part of that is named after Steve Mitchell, who was an inker and worked at DC. So,
really?
So he's taking names of people.
Yeah, like Irwin, Glazer. Like I know there was a Glazer, right? Martin Glazer, and then he has Irwin, like Irwin.
Right. Well, Milton Glazer was the big name designer that designed
Mhm.
the new DC logo in the 70s. So he's taking like little names for people and just
Yeah.
kind of like throwing it in there as little
This guy-
homages.
Yeah, and this guy gets
I
killed
think
by a car.
I think he's doing some similarities, but I don't think he's doing exact people. So
Right.
he's
Yeah, but
combining like a
some of
couple
them are
people
more
into
than
one.
others. Yeah, like this guy, Ira, it's definitely the guys that created Superman.
Right.
I was trying to figure out who this is. This is supposed to be like Eisner and Bob Kane,
Right.
but this guy I haven't figured out who it is. You know.
So he kind of combined Eisner and Bob Kane together into one person, and he doesn't like Eisner, so I'm sure it's not a nice guy.
Dan Fleischer's Eisner, and then this guy's like Bob. Lou Berkowitz is Bob Kane.
Right.
But this guy I haven't figured out. They're saying that he basically hot creator in a generation lousy with heat. It's a 1960s comic book artist. Intolerable to the forefathers whose work he swipes with not an iota of guilt or shame.
I'm just wondering if that's the Neil Adams character.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. So
because Howard used to hang out at Continuity too. So
right. And then the chick, I was like, is this Marie Severin or I don't know. It's like
I don't know. Is she a colorist?
She's an artist but I don't think they intended to do a second series. Like they just started another series in 2021 because at the end all these people die. So I guess so that it's not labeled that, but
right.
But she says fed up with being told she draws like a guy since she doesn't see it as a compliment despite who she's saying. But apparently she's this woman that sleeps around in the office and
that wasn't Marie. But I mean obviously they.
But there's a husband. Her husband's a cartoonist, and then
Marie wasn't married, so.
Okay.
I mean, he just used them as ideas,
right? As ideas,
because also the other female artist that was around that was famous was Ramona Fredone.
Ah, okay.
But she did most of her work for DC. I think she did a little bit of work for Marvel, but
yeah.
But Marie worked mostly for Marvel.
And I love how he does the photographs things. I love to do this myself, like mixing photos with the.
Yeah, no, it's a brilliant book. In fact,
yeah,
I think I want to get the because I think they did a trade on it. So I want to get the trade because I have the individual issues, but I'd like to have the trade with everything there. You know.
Yeah, and then he has McSweeney's Old Irish Pub, which looks a lot like Mustang Sally's, you know.
McSorley's.
Or McSorley's, yeah.
Now, what if he has a diner that's where all the guys hang out at because.
Right.
Because everybody, there was a diner on 48th Street that everyone at the Continuity used to go to afterwards.
Right.
Go to this diner because I used to hang out up there too. So I was one of them hanging out there with those guys.
Right.
You know, and that's what all those guys were up there. So Chaikin was up there, and Bernie Wrightson, and Mike Kaluta.
Instead of Sheena, they have Queena.
Yeah, right. This stuff is great. He should do books of these characters because
I know. I'm telling you, it's great.
I know it's brilliant. It's friggin' brilliant.
Yeah, but this is definitely Stan Lee because you see all the articles, and then he has like this. Instead of Spider-Man, it's Tarantulas.
Right. Yeah. But you see, they have the Eisner Awards, whatever. How come he didn't win one of the awards for this?
Stan Lee? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Why didn't he? Probably offended some people.
Probably. But all these people, they keep gonna be like the guy that did like Wolverine. He'll get an Eisner Award for this.
And then you look at the art styles. I was like, is he trying to give you like a hint as to who it is? Because this looks like Gil Kane styled art here,
Probably, yeah. Now, is this guy supposed to be like stealing stuff or something? Or
yeah, he's like an artist who steals original art too.
Is that?
He steals art from the Office as well. Like and
that's Gil Kane.
It's Gil Kane, right?
That was a reputation. Now I was told. This is what I got. Paul Kupperberg sent me a nasty message about. Because I mentioned something like that on one of his threads where he was writing about Gil Kane,
Right.
I mentioned that, and he goes, "Oh, don't talk about that," but it was freaking known.
It was known, yeah. It
was known, and I'm sorry, I like Gil Kane too, but It was known, and I know when I worked at DC,
Call a spade, Guild Cane Steels.
and I worked. Listen, he needed extra money,
Right.
And when I worked at DC and I worked in the library, I was told to watch him if he came in because that's where they kept a lot of the artwork.
Right.
Like, watch him when he comes in,
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not sorry.
Like that.
I apologize to Phil Kupperberg right now, but this is what I was told at the time.
Right. And then this guy, they saying that Lichtenstein stole from him. So I'm like, who is this artist? Like, and was he?
Lichtenstein did steal.
Oh yeah, he did.
Probably Russ Heath.
Russ Heath. Okay. And he was black. Russ Heath?
No, Russ Heath was not black, but he looks like Russ Heath though with the beard.
Yeah. So
Russ Heath I think Russ Heath did try to sue Lichtenstein because there's like a couple of famous paintings and they're like war.
Right.
This was the Korean War or something with jets and something, and they're exactly swiped from panels from Russ Heath's art for DC.
Yeah, that's what he says. He says, "Jesus fucking Christ!" He said, "Hey, what's wrong? All that's missing from this piece is this piece of shit is my signature."
But that's exactly true.
Panel from Warfare Comics back in 1953.
Right, it's exactly true because it was like from like Our Army at War or something, or war stories or something. But I think he did try to sue, and he wasn't able to get any money off of Lichtenstein.
And they talk about that too. They talk about the lawsuits of the cartoonists trying to sue these people, and
right.
So his name is Ted Whitman in this story. This is really interesting. Then they have the funerals, like everyone's slowly dying off.
Right.
Everyone's attending, and then the arguments in the funeral. So you think this is you think this might be Neil Adams?
Well, yeah, probably elements of Adams. I mean,
elements.
Elements of Adams. I mean, they're not. He's not doing exactly the people. So he's just taking personality quirks from each one and just kind of like
them. Yeah. Then you have like there's lawsuits here, and how the courts basically get over, and they basically the judges defer from a previous case,
right,
and to the company and so forth,
right.
Instead of Superman, you have this guy, Powerhouse, and then instead of Green Lantern, Power Glow. And then
this I would like to see them do a TV series on Netflix on this.
Athena X.
No, this is great. Netflix should do a TV series on this.
Right.
And then they could do like some of the characters. They could do, scenes from the comics, with live action characters.
And then this is like a quote from the Stan Lee character. He says, "Work with me here, people. This is really, really big. There's a bundle to be made here." This is when he's talking about licensing.
Right.
You can't think bigger with me. The competition is idiots, and our outlay is next to nothing since it's all work that's been bought and paid for already. See, you got the Stan Lee character.
Right. Stan wasn't really. I don't think he really was like that, but But I mean, he was a self promoter. I don't think he called people DC idiots, but
I think
everybody knew each other, so it was like
everyone would hear.
Everyone knew each other, and everyone was friends with it. Because everybody used to. When I was at Marvel and then later DC, everyone used to visit everybody else and like come over and like, because both at Marvel and DC they would. When the comic books would come out every week and they'd give everybody like a packet of comics to take home, they had ones that was saved like for Marvel comics. So they'd send like, bundles of those to Marvel, and then Marvel would send theirs over there. So I mean, they were constantly like, it wasn't not like now. Now of course they're horrible enemies now because of the corporate thing,
Right. Because they have Yankee Comics with the DC logo, and then Verve Comics with the Marvel colors, and then he's the head of Verve Comics. So it's like
Verve Comics.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Howard is brilliant. So if you're listening, Howard, you're brilliant.
No, this is great stuff. It's like watching Madman. This would make a great TV show.
Oh no, it would be a great TV show.
Yeah. And I heard there's rumors of an actual Stan Lee movie about the whole Stan Lee Jack Kirby thing, and Bryan Cranston is supposed to play Stan Lee.
I don't know how truthful they can get with that.
Yeah. There'll be lawsuits.
And then of course they have to get permission from Disney. So but basically it'll become like that Disney movie
Right.
about Walt Disney that he kind of like cleaned up some stuff.
Right.
You know.
And then this is the guys that created Superman, which they're calling Powerhouse, 1930.
Right.
This is how it ends.
Right.
With them getting screwed and signing a bad contract. But just, it's funny, he says, and every nerd in the world is wishing he was with us right now with the man who created everything. Right, Chris? Right. We're making a Bob roast sandwich. It's just like, look at the face. It's undoubtedly Stanley. And then you got fucking Simon and what is this? Not Schuster. Simon and is it
Kirby?
Simon?
Supposed to be Simon and Kirby?
No, this was supposed to be the guys who did Superman, the creators of Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these little guys.
Well, I don't know if they touched Simon and Kirby in this.
They do a lot of Kirby, and Kirby is clearly Kirby.
Really?
I mean, yeah, they make no bones about it. I mean, let's go back to issue 4. Kirby is definitely, they do a whole thing on, on that. So, I mean, I'm like cracking up the whole time I'm reading this. I was like, I think this is you worked at Marvel.
Yeah, I worked at both places. This is the best comic series to come out last year, which no one heard of because some people heard it, but because all the comic stores didn't want to carry it because it's like,
yeah, there's a bunch of wimps,
but this is like
timely.
I'd say is the best series that I guarantee in the future. This is going to be like the Watchmen. This is going to be like, this is like the greatest thing that was ever done because it's terrific.
Exactly.
I
love how it goes back and forth, through the decades. So it's not linear. It's like, and then they have like a Christmas party where this guy, this alcoholic artist is beating his wife who was screwing around in the office. It's like, who's Irish.
There may be something based on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be something that I don't know, but it's possible that.
Then you got the Bob Rose characters going to colleges and with the hippies and stuff.
Right. So that's a Stan Lee. Yeah. That's what Stan did. He went to all the colleges and.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing to get in the 60s. The college kids were the ones that were like getting into the Marvel comics and
then you got the Eisner character with the DC guy. Like these are all the top guys, and they can't stand each other. They don't like each other.
Right. Did I say Perlin?
Yeah, Perlin. Yeah.
Oh, was he Don Perlin?
Maybe
Don Perlin was the guy. Don Perlin was very right wing. Is very right wing. I don't know what the deal is, but that
Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse here.
That's definitely the Bob Kane.
The Bob Kane. Yeah, they're really going in deep. It's like, wow.
Oh no, this stuff is great. Yeah. But I like the Gil Kane character. Looks like Gil Kane.
Right. It's like, wow. And I guess this is Bill Finger. This is the Bill Finger character. He's saying I penciled it, so he's not saying he wrote it. So he's saying that he penciled the story.
Okay.
This is at the Bob Kane funeral, but they call it, instead of Batman, they call it Midnight.
Midnight.
And he says the Midnight drawing, I penciled it. So he's the artist supposedly. So who was the penciler? Was
Bob Kane was a penciler, but the original
Bob Kane, but this guy is saying that he was the one that really penciled it. So
well,
that was the ghost, Jerry Robinson, right?
Yeah, Jerry Robinson, but
was the ghost artist.
The actual costume for Batman, supposedly Bill Finger came up with the actual costume.
Yeah, yes. And then this guy's saying that he inked it.
Because
yeah.
Because if you've seen those drawings that are supposed to be the original Batman, it's kind of like a guy in a red suit, and he's blonde, and he's got kind of like a Robin mask on, and he's got these bat wings,
right.
and that was supposed to be Batman. So
right. So what's funny is that at the funeral, apparently they can't stand the bullshit. So they just they start talking and then they walk out. They're like, fuck this. And they're like, hey, we're not done yet. It's like, we are. She says, we just wanted to make sure that he was really dead. So in reference to Bob Kane, but who's called, his name is Ron. what do they call it? Ron Fogel. So, and this is right after the so this is like 2001. So this was
Right.
and Bob Kane did die, right, in 2000 something, before
I think
2000.
so. Yeah.
Around that 2004 or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty, but it just shows you how dismal and how they keep getting screwed. And this is them watching the Batman movie.
Right.
You know, and they're hating every part of it. And they're like, hey, they took everything from our stories, you know, like everything's, you know, and they're not getting a royalty check or anything like that, you know. And
Right. Just like now.
Yeah, exactly. So
what Disney is doing.
Exactly. Like you got SunCon instead of Comic Con. Stan Lee. This stuff is hilarious. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. And then they talk about the auctions, how all the stolen art is showing up on auction.
Yeah.
And then how even like the Stan Lee character is basically making money off of it and signing it.
Well, did you see on Facebook that one of the covers of EC Comics is like shock suspense story? That is famous one where it's kind of an S&M cover. It looks kind of like a Ku Klux Klan guy, and he's whipping this girl.
Right.
That cover just went for over $800,000 on Heritage.
Oh my God!
Now the interesting thing is that back in the early '80s, Wally Wood went to Bill Gaines, who kept all the artwork, and said, "Listen, you know, can you like split this artwork, my artwork with me, whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
And so Bill Gaines went and he sold a bunch of the art, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he split what he got with Wally Wood because Wally Wood was not doing well, you know.
Right.
So he actually went and he sold a lot of the artwork of Wally Wood, and he split the money with him.
Wow.
But unfortunately, but you think 1980, right? What that page sold for? $1,800.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a lot of money in 1980.
It was for sure.
But
nowhere near what.
Whoever bought it back then just sold it for $800,000. So
that's nuts.
Right. So both Bill Gaines and Wally Wood are now spitting in their graves right now. They're like, God damn it, you know.
And the female artist is the one that does the mobster comics, and then they have the black artist is doing like a Namor type book, Sea Sultan.
Right.
And then this guy is doing like an Archie book here. This other character that they brought in.
Right.
So they're really bouncing around the cast of characters and jumping around the decades. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, you might pick up on some of the stories or the rumors in the
I know that. Well, the only black artist I know of that was in the 50s was like I thought it was Matt Webb, who was partners with Vince Coletta in the studio. So Vince, that was his partner in the studio, and then Matt Webb died, I think, in the late 50s. So
right. Yeah, these are amalgams for sure, like a combination of more than one person. We even have this guy acting like a cocky mobster. He's like a famous artist, like he's like an untouchable, and hangs the editor out the window because he didn't give him his paycheck. So he's hanging.
Well, that's supposed to be a famous story. That's a famous story.
Right. It's like
that's a famous story. It's supposed to be true. I'll tell you what that is.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the real story?
Howard is going back to all this famous story. That's supposed to be Alex Toth.
Yeah.
And who the editor is supposed to be Bob Kanigher, who did all the war comics and stuff.
Right.
It was kind of a prick, and that's what's supposed to be is Alex Toth was like, you know, was holding him out the window, you know.
Right.
I believe that's where that story comes from.
And then this is the couple this is the cartoonist couple where he goes through her purse and finds condoms and exposes her for having an affair in the office.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then
what that's supposed to be, but
these are the DC editors here, what they call YC.
Right, YC. Yeah. Now the thing is about the mob connection. It was supposedly Leibowitz and Donenfeld and those guys all had mob connections when they were doing all those books in the 30s.
Right.
They were also publishing books that were like pulps, and they were kind of like sexy pulps, and something was like semi-pornographic. So they were like distributing and publishing some of that stuff
Yeah, and they also show that these artists were doing that as well.
Right,
Just
and then what it is that they were, and then they kind of veered into comic books, but the thing is that they also owned the distribution. So DC actually owned like IND, which was like independent distributor, and they had another one too that they owned, but which they didn't, which was like secretly owned. So that's how they screwed a lot of the independent comic book companies because they were like steered into using this other distributor,
right? Which
and then they would screw them because that's how they apparently screwed like all the guys in the 50s,
yeah,
like DC Comics,
2000s,
and a lot of the independent guys in the 50s, you know, and then in the 60s, you know, they that's how Tower Comics was just selling well, and then they like cut them off, and then all of a sudden you couldn't get them anymore. That was the Thunder Agents. But also in the early 60s, Marvel had their comics distributed by DC because DC owned it. So they were only allowed to have, I think, like 10 titles a month. That's why you kept seeing like all these weird title changes and stuff in those early Marvel comics.
Right.
You know, like all the Tales of Astonish featuring, you know, because they could only have a limited amount of comics. And the other interesting thing was, you know, I guess Martin Goodman played with, you know, the IRS because every different comic book in the early 60s of Marvel, it wasn't published by Marvel Comics Group. Each comic was published by a different corporation.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
If you go to some of the reprint books, it's like Spider-Man is reprinted courtesy of Jones Publications or whatever they were using.
Right.
Eventually, then they put everything under one umbrella. But because I guess what he would do is put all the assets into that book, and then when he canceled the book or whatever, then he could like bankrupt that book. So then
it's fucked up.
So then anything he owed on that book, he could bankrupt it, and that's what these guys used to do.
Then you have this artist who basically leaves a bar and gets hit by a cab, gets killed. Then they have a funeral. Then you have, again, the Stan Lee guy. Verve makes comics cool again, not just for kids, right?
Right.
This is the Jack Kirby character, where the Gil Kane character is asking him.
Well, that was Gil Kane is just like Jack Kirby.
Yeah, you know. And he's always smoking a cigar.
Yeah, there you go. Gee.
So then the Kane guy is like hustling for work. Then he goes home. He owes his bookie money. So he's not paying people. He's basically in debt to the mob, and that's why he's trying to get work. And then his wife leaves him because she catches him the mobster basically exposes him for having an affair. You know?
I don't know. That might have been true. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Howard would know this shit because he knows.
He knows
all the dirt is. So
he knows all the inside info.
He knows all the inside outs. He knows all the stuff. But it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, you know. And they keep going back to San Diego Con, and this artist who's basically this guy here, who they're like, you know, this Gil Kane guy keeps saying that the guy is stealing his panels. The young guy, you know, steals all his panels, you know, and
I'm sure there was some of that going around that they were like complaining, like, oh, you know.
Yeah, and it's Green Lantern, but they're calling him Power Glow. So
right.
So that's I mean that still happens today. I mean, the guy who used to live downstairs, the ghost artist that worked for Marvel, he was literally lightboxing everything Jim Lee. Literally, like, you know.
Like, well, that's what
everything he had was Jim Lee, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, it was like, why don't you draw anything of your own? Like everything, he was literally tracing everything. You know,
that's what a lot of these guys do.
Yeah, it's like they made a, you know, it's like. So this is the latest one. I'm halfway through it, but it's.
Let's take a look at it, shall we, kids?
Yeah. It's a really funny book, you know. It's really hilarious. If we have any comments, nope, no comments. All right, good. So, so I just find it hilarious that and then for those who are paying lots of money for comic books, go to Hey Kids. Go to readallcomics.com. Subscribe to them, and subscribe to us, of course. But if you want to read comics,
So this is the new lineup here of.
So these are the publishers for Verve, right? So you get the publishers.
Right.
So this is probably who was the publisher of Marvel back in the day? Was that a Gold? What was his name?
Martin Goodman.
Martin Goodman. You're right. So then you got the DC guys, right? These are the DC guys, and you got EC. Remember EC with the.
Yeah.
And then this is Archie Comics, Percy. Then you got the publication guys.
What they don't have Archie here.
And then, this is Archie. This is the Archie guy here.
Oh, okay.
Bill Rosenmeyer. That's his name.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah.
And then you got the these are they call them the cannon fodder. So GW Publications. This is the artists or the cannon fodder. Basically, that's what they were described them as. And then the lynch mob, which is like the senator. And
there you go. It's supposed to be Dr. Wortham. Yeah.
Dr. Wortham, right? And then this other guy who is a cartoonist, who's basically helping them screw the companies.
Right.
Now the art got much better here, because these are all digitally drawn. So now it goes into the 70s with some little kids collecting comic books, and then later on and these guys I think end up becoming artists for the next generation. That's where it looks like
that's supposed to be like Roy Thomas or something. The kid with the
probably these are like guys in the 70s and stuff, and then their parents.
It's Rob Liefeld in there.
Yeah, they're not in the 90s yet. So this is hilarious. It's basically Superman, right? But it just shows how the comic books are vanishing and then the magazines are taking over. Yeah.
Well, that was in the 70s when a lot of the black and white magazines were.
Yeah, the black and white magazines are taking over. Yeah. So
which I preferred, but.
Yeah.
Here you go. What is this here? Trog,
yeah. Which reminds me of Kubert's story.
Tor.
Yeah, Tor, right? They got Murder, Romantic Heat, Saddle Pals.
Percy instead of Archie.
Yeah, Percy instead of Archie, and then some rabbit thing.
Saddle Pals.
Saddle Pals.
Saddle Scar.
And it has it's funny. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, this is great stuff.
I mean, the art's fabulous. It's really fabulous.
Or Howard is great.
I've been a Howard Chaykin fan ever since American Flag and then Black Kiss. I loved Black Kiss when I was growing up.
Here you go. Terror Patrol. So it's supposed to be like EC, right?
Yeah, EC, yeah. And
that's supposed to be so go to the top one.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to be probably Jack Davis, right?
Yeah, probably Jack Davis, yeah.
And this next one here, let's see. Now that's probably supposed to be that's Harvey Kurtzman, probably.
Yeah, Kurtzman, definitely.
Let's see the next one. Let me see if I can catch you.
Caught in the Headlights.
Caught in the Headlights.
Crime comics. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know who this one.
So this is supposed to be EC as well. It's EC. Right. Yeah,
right.
Terror
Tomb. There you go. That's great.
I love the way they set it up, and it's mostly
Warfare. Yes, it looks like the.
Yeah.
Now, where's Wally Wood and all this?
I was wondering if this was Wally Wood because he's the one that's depressed and kind of like what do you call that? The introvert, So it's really wild the way he just. And then this is Mad Magazine.
Yeah, right. Whack.
Give your noggin a good whack. I think this was an actual Mad Magazine cover. It looks familiar.
And Looney, is it supposed to be a knockoff of Mad?
Yeah, knockoff of Mad, maybe Cracked or something,
Right. Then everyone was doing, and that's it. Then everybody was doing all the knockoffs of Mad, so they had all these different companies doing
Ding Dong and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there were so many. Wasn't Cracked Marvel?
No, that was separate. But they had there was Sick Magazine and Crack, but then there were comic books that came out in the 50s that were knockoffs too, which I don't remember the name, but they, like Charlton did one, and then they all lasted like 5 issues or something, But some of the stuff is very good though.
What's interesting? He had the original title of the book in the first series, but now he changed it for the second series. He had Dr. Wortham's name in the, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they, he didn't have permission to print it or something, so now they changed it to the Betrayal
of Childhood. Yeah,
and I love it because you can actually read what was typed here. It's actually not just gibberish. It actually has an article in there. And I love the photographs, like how he's just tracing over the photos. You got like a Ford Fairlane here with the 3 headlights.
Right.
Yeah, it's gorgeous stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you lived it. I mean, when's yours coming out? That's what I want to know.
Mine, I don't think so. The Powerhouse. There you go. I want to read Our Pal Percy.
Yeah, it's clearly Archie.
Lieutenant Liberty all the way. Let's see who's Lieutenant Liberty. Hold on.
That's Captain America, basically.
Lieutenant Liberty. Okay.
Yeah.
And what Shock Street? Oh, that's another EC.
Yeah, I think there's a black guy under.
Well, actually, this one looks like Bill Gaines in the 50s.
This looks like Bill Gaines, yeah, definitely, because
that's Bill
Gaines' company, yeah. And it says Marvel, right? Verve, right? So that's supposed to be Captain America,
right?
Then they have the comics code.
Oh, okay. We actually put the comics code there.
Yeah, the Bill Gaines character is obvious because they do the whole committee and remember the hearing and all that stuff. That was pretty. But yeah, it's pretty clever. I mean, it really is pretty clever, I think it's a genius work,
Well, Howard's a genius. Of course, and if he was here, he'd probably say, "Yes, you're right."
Did he pass away?
No, Howard's
he's still alive. He's still alive, right?
Howard
Chaykin is still alive. Yeah, he's still.
Of course, he's alive. What, are you putting a jinx on him now?
No, because the way you said it was. I was like,
no. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. The last time we saw him was at the last East Coast Con before the fucking pandemic.
Right.
Well, I saw him there, and then it was like everyone was looking for me because they wanted me to go appear with George Perez. And he goes, "Tom, everyone's looking for you. You're supposed to go up there. They're looking for you.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay,
Exactly.
Whatever.
Well, we had a very busy few weeks, with the street sign, and you're doing new Astron stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, I got some stuff here to show everybody. I'm working
let's see.
I'm selling for $50 if anyone wants to buy it. I'm working on this one. Here's a pinup of
let me make you
of Astron here.
Let me make you.
I'm still finishing it. I'm gonna have these. I'm trying to do like a Simonson type of thing with these power circles and
right.
And anyone wants these, they'll be $50, and I'll do it in color for you. $50. You can DM me.
That looks great. I like that.
Then I have another one here that's playing around with the kind of like a woman warrior.
Oh, nice.
So I'll do that for the color. $50. Anyone? $50 postpaid.
$50. $50.
DM me on Facebook, and then
you get a hard pay, and you could sell it for a few hundred.
Whatever. I don't know. I doubt it, but okay.
I doubt it.
But if anyone wants to buy these, just DM me and we'll work out something.
Yeah,
I'm working on some other ones too. Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
I'll work out a Black Power one also.
Hey,
I'll rip you off. I'll rip you off too.
No thanks.
Okay.
Don't rip me off. Don't get on the Don't get on the line of all those people ripping me off, Tom.
Oh, I know. DC is doing enough of it.
I think they're trying to form like their Injustice League against me, the anti-Bronx heroes.
Well, don't they already have the comic book? It's like Injustice League or something, or it's something like that.
But I feel like all these people that have scorned me in the past are gathering. It feels that way sometimes.
Well, they know that, hey, you can rip this guy off and nothing's gonna happen. So
they get mad that you're doing well, like, look, he looks happy in this photo. Let's fuck with him.
Exactly.
Why is he so fucking happy?
Exactly. So is anybody watching us now?
Yeah. We have 2 people, one on Twitch and one on Facebook.
All right.
So if you guys want to make comments or questions, throw it in and we could see it here. You
That's
know,
right. If you want us to twitch a little bit, we can do that too.
yeah. Anybody wants to, say something,
Send money.
send money, send money, send your women.
Send the women money. And also, if you want to go, I'm selling a lot of stuff on eBay. So it's Astron 2100 on eBay.
Yes, good. Yeah,
I got
Tom's
a
selling
lot of crap on eBay I'm selling.
right? You sell a lot of original artwork and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
some more. I got movie posters. I got a Raiders of the Lost Ark poster.
Oh, nice.
I got some James Bond posters. All kinds of crap that you guys will like. So
I just found 2 Crow posters from the first
Ooh.
movie, brand new, sealed, and it's plastic, at a garage sale down the block from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's gonna be worth something. A couple $100.
I don't know. It's funny though. It was really hilarious. I was like, these are cool.
You got to keep those garage sales.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Chris is here. Let's see. Hey, look, Chris is at work. Let's see.
Oh,
What's going on, Chris?
Are you on the subway?
What's up? Yeah, he's in the subway. He's got his uniform on.
All right, yeah.
All right.
All right, what's up?
How's everything?
What's going down?
Oh, we're surviving here.
Hey, man, why are the trains can't run on time? What's going on with that?
Because we don't have Mussolini running it.
I haven't run a train in years, but I'm just kidding.
I just know my train. That's it, right? That's my train.
I'm just teasing.
So what train do you do? Number 2 train?
No, he's
The
not
D
on
train.
the D train. He's on the D train.
The D train, yeah, baby.
One of my
Fordham Road,
favorite
baby.
trains. One of my favorite trains. I gotta say.
Fordham Road, baby.
The D train was the one of the more reliable trains. The only thing I didn't like is that during rush hour you got more B's than D's, and that used to irritate me because that's the local.
Yeah. Well, I like the D train because they had the bigger cars and they had the newer cars on it.
Yeah. So put in a complaint for me while you're out.
Yeah, right.
I'm just. So what's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Tired, man. Tired. But I'm not going to stay on.
How many hours do you work a day? Just out of curiosity, give us the inside scoop of a cartoonist who moonlights as a
who has a real job.
Okay.
Well, for this pick, I'm doing
Is that Eugene?
Do some work. Do some work, man. You never work.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so snoring every time he opens up the door.
I like the sketches that you posted today.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Chris, you do some awesome sketches. Those
are cool. I like that Batman one.
That's on the train, actually.
You did that on the train?
I do that when I'm going to work.
Really? We're gonna have to dock your salary now.
Because I have to ride the train like a passenger.
Oh, right.
To it, you know,
right. Those are good.
On the weekday.
But those are good.
And the only thing I can do as far as pages is mark where I want things that I want to have it where it's supposed to be because the panels are so small.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to sketching something big, it's easier.
Right, right.
But the stuff looks great.
There was a little kid in front of me with a Spider-Man toy. And so I took out the pad and I started drawing Spider-Man. And then I gave him one. I was like, here.
They pull out a switchblade on you and said, give me that.
Yeah, he was so happy, man.
That's good. That's cute. That's good that you can inspire the kids to want to draw. You don't know what you're going to do to that kid. Maybe in 20 years he'll be an artist.
Yeah. Either
that or he'll be stalking you. I need a Spider-Man drawing from this guy.
Yeah.
But you're passing the torch. That's what's important,
Well, I mean, my big inspiration was John Byrne until I met him. So.
Well, there you go.
And
well, mine was Denny O'Neil until I met him. Until he was my teacher. I was like, what the hell?
You can't say that, Ray. You stayed in contact with him until you couldn't. So you can't say that.
No, that's not true. After my semester, I didn't talk to him for a few years. Then I saw him again at age 28. So you're talking about 1993 and then 2005. There's a bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
Well, my big
It's
inspiration
not
was
like you hated
Carmine
him, man.
Infantino
Like
until I
that.
met him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a disappointment meeting Carmine Infantino.
Carmine Infantino. He was funny though.
Yeah, but
he was
whatever.
funny.
I mean, he seemed like a nice guy when I met him, but he was older.
Yeah, but I
also
met him
he's
when he
looking
was
for
still
his wife.
publisher, and he was not nice.
Oh, when he was a publisher, he was probably a jerk.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I used to draw like adult comic books and for homework assignments for Carmine. He was like, "This is not comic books." But then he used to get infuriated. But then after a while, he was like, "Hey, let's see what did you draw this week? Let's see."
Hey Ray, how come you never drew for Screw Magazine?
He wanted to see my smut art.
How come you never drew for Screw Magazine or Hustler?
What's funny? I did apply to Hustler and Penthouse and a bunch of other and adults magazines, and I was rejected.
Really?
I don't tell people that, but I still have the letters. The leg
Really?
Hustler's leg show. I still have the letters of rejection.
You should have done covers for Screw Magazine, the newspapers, like my friend Milton Knight did.
Right.
And even Wally Wood did covers for Screw Magazine.
Oh, really? Wow. That's cool. Yeah, because Hustler had that comic book, and Penthouse had that comic book magazine at that time too.
Yeah.
Trust me, I tried to get in, didn't work. I tried everything but kill a person. But
now you're doing your own shit, and so fuck them.
And that's all that matters. And I was just saying to my wife today, I was like, there's a lot of people that we know that are creators that work for the industry, contributed a lot to the known mythos of DC and Marvel. And now they're retired and they don't own shit. They don't get a piece of the check.
There's no pension or anything.
There's no pension. There's no benefits. And I said, at least, 28 years later, when I started trying to draw my own stuff back in 93, I could still say I own all the copyrights, all the trademarks. I own all my characters. Had I worked for those companies, those would have been properties that I would have done for them, and I would be in the same boat. Not
exactly
owning anything. So
exactly.
I don't think that you're in the same boat. It's just it's how you figure how you're going to lead your life and how much control you want yourself.
Right.
If when you got somebody telling you, well, if you do this and do that, they're putting that fear into you that you can't leave.
Exactly.
And if you leave, we're not going to give you anything. You wind up staying and you're basically working for free. Even though you're getting good money, you're basically working for free.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with Jack Kirby.
If you go like,
yeah, like Jack Kirby. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that if you,
I think you guys have a delay. That's why you haven't Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought, and then Tom will jump in. Go ahead. If you came in and said that, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that, and even if you don't have a lawyer and you're smart enough to read your contract, you could go like this. Hell no. I'll do the comic book, but I'm not going to do new characters for you. I'm not going to do nothing new for you. Right.
I'm not going to create for you. I'm going to just do the comic. Just leave
and then
it.
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, that's why you don't see a lot of really new characters now.
Right.
You're not seeing new characters now in these books.
That's true. They're just doing
exactly what you said, because people are not creating new characters.
Very good.
They're doing variations of the characters they have already. So now they have a Wonder Woman from Brazil, but it's not a new character.
Yeah, it's disgusting. That's just disgusting to me. But,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because people are not getting paid.
They're not even writing good stories. They're not even writing stories that seem interesting because they're what is actually happening. What is actually happening right now in the comic book? Nobody wants to read what's happening right now. You want to take your mind someplace else.
Exactly. Very true.
I'm reading right now. I'm reading Keanu Reeves' Berserker,
Right.
I'm reading Black Cotton by Gada.
That's going to be a movie. You know that, right? Black Cotton got a movie deal.
Oh no, it's not Black Cotton. It's another film that's coming out. It's not Black Cotton.
It's Bitterroot that got the movie deal, actually.
Yeah, Bitterroot is coming out.
Yeah.
I had a situation, I guess, online with the artist, but
which artist?
Otherwise, I just look at it like this: that if you're going to do a book for you, where you do have the control, and then you can't even sell it really, actually, because if you give it up to another company, they make a movie out of it. Of course, they're going to pay you, but then they have the right to keep on doing it without you.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
Well, yeah.
Depends on how much you think about yourself.
Well, they'll give you money, but they'll give you like a little pittance, you know. They throw you like a couple of dollars here. Like Rich Buckler, when they put Deathlock on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he didn't even know about it. He found out from someone that they were on. So he called up Marvel, and then they sent him a contract. They gave him $25,000.
Which is nothing compared to the millions that they're making.
That was their coffee budget. That was their lunch budget.
I mean, they could have easily gave him a cool $1 million and keep the guy happy, you know, and then and still they're making more. I mean, look at the
budget for every episode is $5 million. So $25,000 is like that's like their lunch budget for a couple of days.
Right, exactly. That's like the conference money when they have a conference and they pay like the craft services or whatever caterers is $25,000. Exactly.
Right. So,
yeah, exactly. That's like their lunch budget, like their petty cash. But yeah, I mean the same thing with you look at the Loki show, and you know Kirby did the Loki show, and I mean I don't know if his family's getting anything for that, but you know it's just.
No, they're probably getting something for it, but it's going to be very small because look at
very small amount.
Larry Lieber had something to do with that, and Larry didn't have nothing to do with the creation. Stanley had nothing to do with the creation of that character.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they're using elements from Mark Gruenwald apparently and some other writers later on. So, but they're probably not getting anything, you know.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. Let me let y'all go. I got to get out of here. Talk to you.
All right, man.
Yeah. And no more graffitiing on the trains, man. Stop that. I know that's you. You're secretly graffitiing the train.
Yeah, right. I don't even do graffiti.
It says Duckett was here. It says Duckett was here and has like a little silhouette of your face.
Hey, they have graffiti classes at DeWitt Clinton now, so you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have the graffiti classes at DeWitt Clinton. Yeah.
I don't.
Chris. Thanks for coming on.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Everybody, Chris Duckett.
Chris Duckett. There he goes. Guest appearance.
The one and only.
That's right.
All right. So if you guys are on the D train, you might be writing with Chris Duckett. You never know.
You can ask him for a sketch.
Artist extraordinaire.
He'll do a free sketch for you on the D train. But we're talking about Kirby again. It's
yeah.
You know, that's what Kirby wanted. He didn't want to create any more new characters for Marvel. That's why he saved all those characters from when he went to DC, the New Gods and all that, because that was all supposed to be what it was supposed to be. I think originally, what I've been reading, is that whole Ragnarok series that went on.
Right.
The gods were supposed to die, and then the new gods were supposed to take over.
Yeah.
And of course, they said, no, we can't kill these characters. These are like, you know. So then he just saved those new gods, and then that's why they showed up at DC. Now, when he went back to Marvel, the Eternals was supposed to be a continuation of the new gods.
Right.
So then, when he left Marvel, then he goes to Captain Victory. He creates Captain Victory. That's supposed to be a continuation from the Eternals. So there's a link there.
Yeah, because he does look like Icarus. He looks a lot like Icarus.
And basically, from what the hints are in Captain Victory. Right. Captain Victory is supposed to be the son of Orion. Because if you see,
he has the same
Captain
beautiful
Victory,
character too.
and he rides on this thing that looks like Orion's.
Yes, the little ski thing. Yeah.
And then they had that character that kind of looks like Darkseid in Captain Victory, right?
Right. Yeah.
So all those series, even though they're different companies, they're all kind of connected.
Yeah, and his mind. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's why people. I was talking to somebody. They were saying that Captain Victory's art wasn't good. I'm like, are you retarded? I mean, that's some of his best stuff. I thought that was better than some of his Marvel stuff.
You know, somebody online today, they bought, I guess, some comics, like loose. I guess they have comics in a pack. I don't know, 10 comics for $5 or something.
Yeah.
At this place called Ollie's, which we don't have any around here, but I think there's one up Newburgh and there's one in Waterbury, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of the comics that he got were some Captain Victory comics, original ones.
Wow.
So somewhere, they have. I think I have all of them now. I'm gonna put them in a. I'm gonna put them in a. Have them bound like I had the New Gods bound. Let me.
Yeah, let's see that you guys. Bound. Yeah, we were supposed to have Corey on today too, but I haven't seen Corey as of yet. He hasn't shown up.
So when I was at DC, I got this idea from Paul Levitt's, because I went over Paul Levitt's apartment and he had an entire room of books. He had bound all of his comic books.
Oh yeah. And then the archives had the books bound as well. That's great.
Right. I used the same book binder that the archives did in the DC.
Yeah.
I think this cost me like $10 or $20 at the time. And this is like, so this is the entire run of the New Gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? From number 1 on.
Hold it up a little bit. Hold it up to the camera. That's beautiful. Yeah, that looks great.
Right. And then I even put in the few issues there at the end, which were the Mike Vosberg, when they were bringing them back with Mike Vosberg and
that was great.
Yeah, so I had also the Eternals bound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And stupidly, when I needed money, going back 5-6 years, I sold them at Comic-Con for, I don't know, $80, $100.
Is that stitched in or glued in?
Stitched in.
Yeah.
So I collected all the Captain Victories. I'm going to have that done. And then eventually I want to get some like beat up copies of Eternals and have that done, and I had most of them, which I sold a lot of comics before I moved a few years ago. But I do have that reprint of Eternals 1, so I could throw that in and then get the rest of them. I have a few copies of Eternals, but I got to fill them in, and then when I have some extra money, I'll pick up some cheap on eBay, or if you see any copies in the dollar bins, just pick them up,
Oh yeah, whenever I see it, I pick them up all the time. And then I used to bound my books too, but not like that. I used to do them in binders with the Mylar plastic.
Right.
I don't know if I ever told you, my cousin. I was in DC offices a lot as a teenager and in my early 20s, because my cousin was an intern there and he worked in that volume section. So I used to go and read all the time. It was great. It was him and this heavy set guy with a beard that was always there. But I loved that they had the Superman punching through the wall. I thought that was pretty cool. And then
what I like about
had his fist popping out,
when they had some of these books, then they reprint some of the stuff from the Golden Age, and this is like a Manhunter story.
Oh wow!
That was in one of the comics. This is in one of the New Gods, but they were doing the
Kirby Manhunter, right?
But Simon and Kirby. But the thing is, they did reprints of a lot of the Simon and Kirby stuff, but they never did the Manhunter, which I'd love to see.
And they used the Manhunter like crazy. I never seen them say Manhunter created by Kirby, even though we all know that he did. He was the Green Lantern for a while. Supposedly he was supposed to be I guess the space police before the Green Lanterns. They established in their DC whatever.
And then for I think they did one issue where Kirby tried to bring back Manhunter and he redid it in the 70s.
Right.
But here's another Manhunter, because when they did like a few of those issues that when they were doing the 25-cent books, here's another Manhunter.
That's fantastic. That's totally like Joe Simon there and Kirby.
Oh yeah,
they had an interesting look because it's like you could see Simon's stuff and then Kirby stuff, and then when they merged together, it became like this whole other animal. That's not,
Well, it's obvious, to me now. That Kirby learned a lot from Simon because there's a lot of the art style is very similar.
Without a doubt.
So, I mean, they taught each other, and it was a great combination. They complemented each other.
Yes,
much like you and me. You and me when we did Bronx Hills and Trump Land.
With
I did the penciling, you did the inking, and then you did some of the drawing, and we complimented each other.
Labor intensive work for sure.
And then of course, I put in with this the first issue special, Return of the New Gods.
I don't know if I told you. After that project, I didn't color anything for almost a year.
Right. Well, that was enough. I mean, that was like a real pain.
That was torture. I was totally tortured from working on that book night and day for 4 months. That was like nuts. I was like totally this.
Speaking of comics, I'm just curious. Did you ever order anything from these comic books? Like, they had these goofy ads, like 100 soldiers for $1.98.
There was a superhero guy, Captain O, and my brother used to order the catalog, and we would sell things door to door, like to all the neighbors from the Captain O catalog.
You're kidding.
But then the prizes were shit. It's like, so he had like a lightning chest. He was red, blue, and he had an O on his chest, and he had like a mask. He almost looked like Captain America, but he had electricity on him. Let me see if I can find him on the net.
Oh, here's another Manhunter story. Look at this. Look at this artwork. Look at this.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, this stuff is like awesome. This is why I want to get some of these original issues and bind them, because you buy the reprint that they have, which is great, but they don't put all this other stuff in there.
Right.
It's just the stories.
Yeah, I found Captain O. This shit is hilarious.
Captain O. Wait! Look, Look at all the diamond rings you can get. Only $20 each. What a deal!
The
other one was just like Johnson Smith, where you could buy all this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they had all this stuff. Make your own radio.
Exactly.
I had that Man from U.N.C.L.E. radio. It was a radio pen. It was basically a crystal set. So you attached it to anything metal, and then you could hear it. It's neat,
Really?
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Have fun and make money with hand shadows. You can make money with hand shadows. Isn't that great? Can you just imagine doing that? It's like, I'm just going to go and do a party. I'm going to hand shadows. Look.
That is too funny.
Only $1.70.
So this is Captain O. Look at this Captain O here.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah. I don't know if you can Flickr here has it.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually, I'm a natural born salesman.
Right.
So we used to do this. It was mostly my brother, and then I would help him. But I remember going door to door and knocking on people's doors. Because back in the day too, like the schools had the candy sales too.
Oh yeah.
To raise money, like the Catholic schools did it, the public schools did it.
Oh yeah, that was a big scam.
Yeah, for real. Look at 1-800-528-6644.
Hey, call that number. See if they're still around.
Yeah, I know, right?
Captain O, yes.
Let's call Captain O. Let's see if he's around.
Yeah, let's get some.
It's probably
Captain shit.
Scammers from India right now.
Very good.
This is a success.
These were days of everything was very innocent. Oh, you actually tried to call it?
It's not in Arizona. They have a separate number, like 24 hours, 7 days a week.
There you go.
These are the prizes, right? So you're supposed to sell like a certain amount of greeting cards and some other.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they sell cards and gifts. Yeah, I still remember this shit. I don't know why, because I have a terrible
I
memory.
think my father used to sell cards too, because we had a lot of cards.
Yes, there was a greeting cards and gifts from free sales booklets, right? And then you get to choose this shit. But then, like when we got it, it was crap. It was really crap.
Right.
Go, go, go with Captain O. Pick your prize from Olympics free full colored prize catalog.
Oh boy, what a deal.
Well, keep the cash, $1 for every item sold. It's easy to earn prizes or cash by selling all occasion cards, personalized stationery, and gifts from Olympic free 1987 sales booklet.
They were still doing this in 1987?
Yeah. Show your sales booklet to friends, relatives, neighbors, anyone to prospect with Olympic.
Well, they had about 10 years to go because once the internet came, that's the end of all this shit.
Oh, yeah, man. I think this thing was probably going strong into the 90s until the comic books just, the covers went out of control. Yeah, you know, so it's like.
Well, it's funny. Now you look at the DC Comics, the only ads they have are from like things related to Warner Bros. Like they have ads for the CW.
Right.
Warner Brothers, but I mean, it's not even any outside ads. It's just like all in-house ads.
Yeah, when they were owned by Revlon, you used to have all the Revlon ads and the aftershave spikes and stuff like that. Old ads, video game ads.
But like you see the ads here, they had, you know, they had actual ads from different companies, and there was all this slot stuff, which is great, you know.
Yeah, but in the 80s and 90s, Revlon owned Marvel, right? So
right.
And then Toy Biz or Toy Wiz? Toy Biz ended up taking them on, and then they screwed Toy Biz. You know, that was the first toys being made by them.
How come they don't have ads for like, you know, be a muscle man?
Maybe a muscle man. Yeah. We should probably scan some of those and put them in our next book.
We should.
You know, or make like
be a real man.
Be a real man.
Like sand kicked in your face.
Or maybe we could do more some modern one.
Here's a great picture here. Orion of the New Gods.
That's very cool. Yeah. I love Kirby. I don't know what people are talking about. They don't like Kirby.
Well,
we've been on here for an hour and 37 minutes. That's longer than 37 minutes over. This is gonna have to be broken into 2 parts. But we can keep going all night. But I'm gonna wrap this.
Remember, kids, you can buy my artwork. Just DM me.
Yeah.
DM me.
Yeah.
Buy some shit.
Or even give them your email. Give them your email so you can
Astron_2000 at MSN.com.
There you go, MSN.
Buy some shit.
Thank you guys for tuning in. My son lost my drive, so I don't have an intro or an outro today. So
good for him.
I'll have to put that in there.
Well, happy birthday to him. That was his birthday present to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Destroying your drive.
I have a teenager again.
So, there you go.
13 years later, I have a teenager again.
So your life is over now.
Yeah. Well, my daughter is 25 now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, my daughter is going to be 39.
Wow. Yeah.
And I haven't heard from her in 2 years. So wherever she is, good luck.
Same here. Yeah. My daughter just, parents are weird. My mother and my 2 sisters had a Zoom meeting with my daughter, and I wasn't even invited, but they sent me pictures of it. It's like, hello, why didn't you let me know? It's like, asshole.
Well, my daughter and granddaughters and her ex-husband is a nutcase, so I don't know. That whole family was fucked up anyway. So,
but does that make sense? It's like, so you had a conversation, because usually we do like family Zoom meetings since the
right,
show, but then you don't include me. It's like I'm her father. It's like what the fuck? It's like,
I don't know.
Oh well.
Oh well. But I had my wonderful colonoscopy yesterday. It was great.
Oh God, yeah.
I had to relate the story how I harassed the.
Let's get the skinny on this. This was funny. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this is funny. Okay, kids. So the last time I had this done, and it was 3 years ago, they must have given me too much stuff or whatever because it took them 2 hours. I was actually under, and it took me 2 hours to wake up because they said I had some problems breathing or whatever, and I was like woozy for like a couple of days.
Scary.
More woozy than I am normally.
Right.
So it was like obviously they gave me too much shit, you know, when they were doing it, right? So it was very funny. So I was always I was nervous about doing this, as you know, I was talking to you. So I go in there and I'm in, you know, the prep room, whatever. They have you take your clothes off, you put on the gown, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first one that comes in is the anesthesiologist comes in. And he goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm going to be your anesthesia." I said, "Okay, fine." So he looks in the book with all the records. He goes, "Oh, you were here 3 years ago." He goes, "I was your anesthesiologist." And I go, "Really? Oh, so you were the motherfucker that almost killed me." I said, "I was out for 2 hours there, and I was having a hard time breathing. I thought you would have you almost killed me." He goes, "Oh, well, you know, what, you put fentanyl with me?" No, we only use propofol. And he was like, I said, "Well, you know," I said, you better give me less shit this time, you know? Yeah. I'm half asleep ahead, so just give me a little bit and just knock me out. I'll be asleep, you know? He goes, "Well, you know what? Let me get somebody else to take it," you know? And he literally ran out of the room. Ran out of the room, and like 15 minutes later, another guy showed up. The other guy was cool. He was actually Italian, this guy, and he was cool. I had a good rapport. I was joking with him and everything. He was cool, but and this time it was like I literally woke up like a half hour later. Like when they were done,
right?
They were done like in 45 minutes. And like a half hour later, I was like, it started at 8:45, and I was awake by 9:30. I woke up at 9:30, so it was very fast because they only found like 2 tiny little polyps. So they said there was nothing.
Right. So, well, I'm glad you're alive and healthy and safe.
Yeah, but I kind of enjoyed like harassing this fucking guy. So you're the motherfucker that almost killed me.
You're the asshole that was in my asshole. I was like,
I see the look on his face, like you know. I told him, I said, "Listen, anything happens to me, there's guys with no necks that could be looking for you." So that I think that kind of scared him a little bit.
That's hilarious.
Which is what everyone should do. So any doctors that fuck you up, you should just like fucking
of course. So
just threaten them, you know, like the guy that couldn't get the bone out of your neck.
Oh my God! Don't remind me. I started having like PTSDs on that. Well, that's it. This is a wrap. Let's.
All right,
me, Tom. Don't hang up yet.
I'm not hanging up yet. No.
But everyone else, take care. Thanks for tuning in. We had 3 whole viewers. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. Yes. You can see the rest on YouTube forever.
No one made any comments, but that's okay. You guys are always welcome to comment. We love comments. We love.
Tell us we're assholes. It's okay.
Yeah. You know. I try not to be. You know, it's like
whatever. I don't know.
I'm not perfect, but I try.
Just send this to Howard Shake, and I'm sure he'll have something nasty to say.
Yeah, check out Hey Kids Comics.
Yes,
great.
And then check out our book, Bronx Heroes in Trumpland.
Bronx Heroes in Trumpland.
It's selling out on Amazon, and then on
Punchline Clown
BMX, whatever the Bronx Heroes website is. What is it again?
BXHCC, Bronx Heroes Comic Con, basically. So BXHCC.com.
There you go. Buy it. Oh, you got
Kirby
says buy it.
Coming on now. There's 4 people on Facebook now.
Now we got 4 people now.
Now we're wrapping up. The people are showing up.
BronxHeroesComicCon.com. Buy our book.
Yes.
And then also the new edition of the almost complete Black Power.
Yes. Buy the book that we're getting.
Covered by Trevor Von Eden, who I discovered, by the way.
Yes, you did. And, we'll talk about that. I'm going to see after the book is done, Trevor said that he'll come on and we'll talk. So
oh, cool.
Then we can do
He owes me an Astron drawing, so. They're discovering him, so. Do a freaking cover for me, man.
There you go.
Come on, brother. I discovered you, brother. Do one drawing for me, man. That's why Frank Miller, I can't get any. I discovered him, and he still owes me $40. You know what? I don't even want a drawing from him because his drawings suck now. So I'd rather get the $40 plus interest. Okay. Yeah, man.
Before I actually got this big fat Big Damn Sin City book, Frank Miller
Oh God.
at Book Off. It was like $69.50. Originally priced at $100, actually. Wow.
What a deal.
What a deal. What a steal.
Frank Miller.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning
Now
in.
I got 5 people watching.
Start over from the beginning.